Is it possible to rejuvenate you? Do you think you can reverse diseases that are causing your aging? Do you know that your spirit and physical body are light? In a light medicine understanding, we can say, yes, you can regenerate your body. Since our atomic structures are made of light, we can utilize light in conjunction with combination therapies to facilitate greater levels of health and well-being. In fact, our cells can use electricity, light, and sound as energy sources. By working with molecules that give off electricity to the body, using light, for example, of the moon, and sounds of healing frequency, we can enhance the energy in the cells needed for repair and restoration. Light medicine is a new paradigm describing the science of light, spirit, and longevity.
The ultimate medicine is light.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Thank you. So what if I told you that some of the most well-known paradigms of science are incomplete? What if I told you the Big Bang never happened? What if I told you that general relativity is incomplete? And that the model of Watson and Crick of DNA is also incomplete, and that these scientists knew that in their lifetime. There was one scientist by the name of Nikola Tesla who knew of a different way and who described ether physics. Ether physics is the science of a luminiferous elastic liquid that is the base of all creation, and that its manifestation in torsion physics and torsion waves is what actually changes all forces in nature. The way to rejuvenate your body is exactly the same way by which you would propulse an anti-gravity spaceship. And Nikola Tesla knew that. So the ether that consists of omnions and omnitrons that are interacting with each other and creating an electromagnetic grid is in momentum. And in the crossing points, there are micro vortices that we call torsion waves that are occurring. So the way Nikola Tesla utilized this to create anti-gravity propulsion systems is that he created a high voltage electrical current to change the momentum of the ether. And that then allowed to overcome inertia and gravity. Nikola Tesla did the same thing to his own body. So we are a conglomerate of molecules that are spinning in space. And as we change our spin, the torsion waves that we are producing is changing. So any time that you change the spin state of an electron, of a proton, you change the mass and time of that biological system. There was an astrophysicist by the name of Kozyrev who understood and described the phenomenon of torsion physics, and he understood that any time that we accelerate a particle, we change the information of the torsion spin, and that the space-time also is being twisted. So right there in that process, You are changing the density of time. You can switch time forwards and backwards. You can alter mass. You can change the bond angles between water molecules. You can change radioactive nuclear decay rates. What does that have to do with you? So your body is a conglomerate of molecules that if you reverse engineer it, it is actually light. And so you give off photons, and you are in your body are moving massive amount of electrical currents, and that's how actually your organs function. Ramtha gave a teaching on light medicine, and he explained that the loss of light of the organism is the cause for inflammation and thereby aging. So you are a contained system of energy, and if you're losing light, then the health of the organism is declining. But because there is so much energy in your system, in fact, per cubic centimeter, you are emanating 8,000 times more energy than the sun. So because there is so much energy in the system is uniquely sensitive to extremely weak signals. So what that means is that one photon that hits the retina can be amplified so massively within your body that it can initiate 100,000 chemical reactions in your body. So if we then think that you are a spaceship and that all we have to do is increase the energy within your system, and that we are going to do it by giving electrical energy or light energy to your system. Ramtha described several different ways of being able to do it. So we can do it mass to mass, we can do it via light, and we can also do it via mind, because the observation of our thought directly bends light into form and creates torsion waves. So let's say that you have a disease, you have lost light, and we want to employ all mechanisms to help you regain it. We can look at molecules, and all molecules have a light body because they descend from light into mass. We can look at these molecules and their ability to give off light or electricity. Why are light and electricity synonymous? Because whenever an electron is excited, there is an orbital jump, and in that jump, a photon is absorbed, so we're absorbing light. When that electricity is given for biochemical reaction, the photon jumps again and we give off light. So at all times there are light waves, and there's actually also sound waves. So you are a conglomerate of a neighborhood of diversified light whose harmony is you. That is a quote from Ramtha. So now what we do is Ramtha suggested in the May 2018 teaching to look at molecules and look at their veracity of light. And so in order to research that, he had suggested to look at light spectroscopy. Light spectroscopy is a way to quantify atomic bonds by their energy emission. And so you can have a molecule that is giving off information, for example, in the ultraviolet realm or in the infrared realm. And so if we understand again that you are an energetic system, if we give that molecule, and that molecule is giving the information of ultraviolet, light, and it's also giving electrons, so direct electricity. Then all we have to do is look at the ability of an individual molecule to generate electricity. So that's what I did. And these molecules are able to regenerate the entire system. So what that means is because we are a biophotonic light field, if that light field is coherent, means harmonious, you are joyful, you are in the now, there's no diseases, there's complete harmony. And we give a molecule like carbon-60, which is an electron donor of immense electrical property. Now we can give the electricity, but it will increase the electricity in the entire coherent system. So what that means is that we're not just upregulating one gene that creates health. We are upregulating all health-creating genes. And we are downregulating all disease-creating genes. You understand? So everything is related to the whole. In terms of the idea of carcinogens or molecules that make us sick, we can look at our model of how we understand DNA. And what I told you earlier is that Watson and Crick's model was incomplete because what they said was that one gene was in charge of encoding one specific thing. Dr. Garayev from the Genome Linguistics Institute in Moscow had proposed an alternative model. And that model says that your DNA is a holographic optical and sound system that is giving your information in space and time and emitting it as light. So when our DNA is being read, one gene is being read in the context of your entire space and time, your holographic program. So your little toe knows that your brain, your ear, and your heart are functioning, and it knows it when it reads that one gene. So that is why CRISPR gene editing hasn't solved all diseases, because CRISPR gene editing does not know about the holographic context of the whole throughout space-time. So what has been shown in studies is that the genetic information of a biological organism can be captured as that holographic light and sound form, and it can actually be transferred from one species of a frog away 5 kilometers through a laser to another species of a frog, and you have transmitted that genetic information. So what that means is that we can manipulate genes through light and sound. So let's say someone is ill and we give them molecules that are increasing the electricity within their system. So that is mass to mass. You're going to take things like vitamin C, which is a profound electron donor, and all of its beneficial effects are related to its capacities to solve electrons in a watery solution, create an electrical current. That is why it can be acting like a panacea of healing. You have things like peptides. They have optical properties. They have a twist. That twist encodes certain colors and information. So you have a peptide like GHK copper that is able to give proton atomic energy to a system. And how is it possible that one molecule can reset 30% of the human genes back to health? Well, now we know. By giving this atomic energy, the entire coherent whole is uplifted to a greater energy level and therefore to a greater state of health. The blue room utilizes ultraviolet blue light. Ultraviolet blue light at that frequency has 10 to the power of 40 more photons than would be expected in what's called a thermodynamic equilibrium. So one photon can set off a cascade of 100,000 chemical reactions, remember? So what can a 1 with 40 zeros of photons do in your system? Why does the blue room work? So our skin has melanin, and that melanin has a mechanism to absorb light. We can store it in our system, and now we can use it for healing energy. The same concept. So we are able to increase the overall energy in the biological system. We're accelerating the spin of electron, and we have just changed your space-time. We have reversed the time in your body. And we have done that because as we change the spin of your particle mass, we have changed torsion, and that affects all of these different properties. So we've age reversed you. So the other way that cells can function is they can utilize sound waves, phonons, so you are actually emitting sound, just as you're emitting light. And that sound is frequency specific to you. If we are now using a healing sound, like Jay-Z is doing in her blue room, your cells are able to utilize that energy again, to upregulate the whole, to produce more energy and create greater health. So these mechanisms, in a very simplified way, would set the basis of a new medical science, a new paradigm. Because it is a different way of understanding how molecules work and how we can utilize light and sound to heal people. If we utilize more and more of these modalities, would it be possible to reduce the healing time substantially and accelerate it to a degree that, let's say we had a stroke victim, can't speak, can't talk, can't walk, can't see, can't read or write, and we would give them molecules that electrically enhance them. We would also detox metals that are interfering with the proper reading of the hologram. Why do chemtrails contain aluminum? Why do vaccines contain metals, palladium, titanium, steel? Because metals not only are electrical conductors, but if used in a nefarious way, or in a toxic way, like lead, cadmium, arsenic, all of the things that we're exposed to in our environment, they have optical properties that will scramble the light of the healthy hologram. Do you understand? Yes. So if you remove those heavy metals, if you remove heavy metals from an autistic child whose brain has been poisoned with mercury, and you take that out, you restore the natural hologram, and the body will be able to heal itself. So if we do that, so we remove the toxic heavy metals, and we are giving molecules that are enhancing the electrical mechanism, we send people to the blue room, we tell them to self-correct. We want them to be joyful, to find new ways of expressing themselves, new hope, because all of that uplifts the overall energy state in the body. So our system that is interfacing with the spiritual entity that we are has quantum properties. Your brain is a quantum computer. It has the capacity for phenomenal computation. There is a certain switch in your brain that prevents you from actually experiencing that, but that switch can be undone and has been done with brainstem scarring. So you have these super whiz kids who can do phenomenal computations. So you are able to do that. Also, your DNA has infinite capacity because we have genes that belong to animals, like whales don't get cancer. They have 20 copies of P53, which is a certain gene that mutates in humans and creates cancer. So we are able to potentially genetically engineer humans of a whole different caliber in a new science. And we can do it by utilizing optogenetic systems. Your cells respond to light. You don't need to clip a gene. You just give it a light signal, and all aspects of cellular mechanism can be controlled by that. So bioengineering of superhumans can be done with light. So this book was inspired by Ramtha's teaching. It was inspired by J.Z. Knight, who in her Mercy Blue Room program allowed me to explore new modalities, and then in my own office at AM Medical to put these combination therapies together. So even though I am utilizing things that people know about, like vitamin C and peptides, and they've heard about that, and chelation, the way these modalities are being put together based on their light value and the individual needs of the person is new, and it doesn't exist anywhere in the world. So this is just the beginning. I hope that you will overcome your concern about reading science, because remember the event when Ramtha talked about that people needed to know about all the subatomic particles, otherwise they couldn't come back into school. Why did he do that? Because he gave us the science of a new civilization. The science of a new civilization does not have many, many different sciences where the astrophysicist isn't talking to the doctor, and there are so many discombobulated theories. There's only one science. Ether physics is the unified field theory, and how the spiritual entity bends light into form. That is the future of all technology. Wireless technology, anti-gravity propulsion systems, free energy, zero-point access, replicators. It's all one science, so you should know about it. Is it possible to make a human being immortal? So we absolutely know that in order to regenerate the body, you would have to give the body back energy faster than you're consuming it, faster than you're eating your own light. That's why you're self-correcting. You're endeavoring to be a coherent energy field. You are still doing these things to support yourself in your journey so that you can buy yourself time until you can self-correct enough to heal yourself. But ultimately, it is possible, just like Nikola Tesla did. So Nikola Tesla utilized high voltage electricity to heal himself. He did not have to eat. He slept less than an hour per day. He treated his depression with it. And so remember Gladys's teaching where Jay-Z said at the end, I think I'm going to switch nucleuses? So is it possible for a being of light to no longer have to eat, but to utilize alternative methods of energy? Yes, it is. And he did that. And the other entity who I think does it is J.Z. Knight. How is it possible that somebody has a brain that has less than 9% blood flow, meaning it barely has the oxygen to not liquefy the brain, but it does not have the energy to have actual neurological computation? And how can that entity be a genius? So that's a mystery for you to contemplate, and I hope that you will look at Jay-Z's medical records very carefully, because it has everything to do with you and what you can do in your own body. She's already doing it. So this is light medicine. It is just the beginning, and I hope you will enjoy it. And I want to thank people who have been part of this extraordinary journey. Laura Mooney, without her, AM Medical would have never existed. She has, with great personal sacrifice, helped this dream. My beautiful AM Medical staff, these are students who work very hard to help a lot of people. We have the Blue Room team, Terry Stewart. Where's Terry? Terry! Brandy, Mike Wright, Jay-Z Knight, who's been phenomenal, and who has allowed so many people to make a comeback. The stories about the Mercy Blue Rooms are modern miracles. The reason why they're written up is because that doesn't happen in the regular healthcare system. And it happened because of light medicine. So we can regrow hearts, we can reverse dialysis requirements, we can cure cancer, we can do a lot of different things when entities are willing to take a journey. And I want to thank all of them who did it. One of a great conversation I had with one entity once, Neil Kaber, and I was talking to him about a new treatment that I thought would work for him. And he asked me, he said, "So have you ever done this before?" And I said, "No." "Do you know anybody who's done it before?" I said, "No." "But you think it'll work?" "Yeah, based on the science, it'll work." I like experiments. It worked. So people who were involved in the book, that was quite a journey, and it was a challenging journey during busy times. I want to say a special thank you to our beautiful Michelle Horkins, who polished that book like a diamond. And Pat Richter, awesome work. Thank you so much. And all of the wonderful folks. That beautiful video was done by Martise, and the graphics, Melissa Peisner, beautiful geniuses. Kirk, who's done our website. Thank you so much. It's a fantastic community. This is the birth of a new science, and let's go for it. And we want to see all of you age-reversed and immortal, and we can do it. Thank you.